Muscle Connection, episode 33. I think I put 32, but it's 33. Oh, yeah, it's 33. So, first off, I think the main topic I want to talk about, because I see this a lot as a trainer, and since Akira is here, he can talk about the mental aspect of why people do this. But I know when I first start training people, I don't like them to start with supplements to start out with, because they rely on that over the diet and training. And so if they come down to where they're coming down on funds, which I tell you, if you're going into bodybuilding stuff and you're financially not ready, do not fucking come to me, because I am very reasonably priced and I have you to get the least amount of stuff or whatever you needed. And so if you can't, and it's a very expensive sport, but back to what I was saying, the people will spend the money on the supplementation stuff and skip on the diet. And so when I first get people in, I'm like, hey, diet training, once you see that working and we want to polish off the results and get a little bit more, we'll add some stuff in there. And so that way they always know that diet and training is crucial. But there's such a huge market. There's supplement companies fucking left and right all over the place. Every time you're on Instagram, whatever, you see some homeboy's got their new supplement company. Every time somebody gets a little bit of fame, every time a bodybuilder does one show, he comes out and starts his own supplement line. Now, granted, there's only maybe 2 or 3 that I would put my life on if I had to really swear by a brand. But there are tons out there. And a lot of people just go into a store and they see the fancy labels and they buy it and it gets them jacked, even though they don't know if that's what it's really supposed to do. But since they feel it, they'll stick to it. And then all of a sudden their attention prioritizes the supplementation over diet and training. Even when it comes to PEDs, I've seen guys that will blow that shit out of the water and their diet will suck, but they're spending all this money on stuff. And it's like, I've seen people that don't even take anything and then do the diet and training and look better. But because that's talked about a lot and it's pushed a lot in marketing, because nobody markets food and training. They market supplementation. They market stuff they're selling. So people build this crutch and they think they have to have these supplements and they're afraid to come off of them, and they'll do that over food. Dibs, I mean, you're at the pro level of this game. And you've been doing this for a while too. So what have you seen in this aspect with people?
I've seen, what have I seen in people? I mean, I could say the biggest thing I see is mostly from military people. I see the biggest crutch from them. I'm active duty in the military, but I'm also not afraid to say the truth. I see the same people will go eat McDonald's on Friday, pound some pre-workout, go work out, drink some beers, and then go run 4 miles in the morning. I just don't understand like how the hell they do that. And they rely on the pre-workout and they read these bottles. Now, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I was 100% a victim of this in 2012, 2013. I mean, I relied more on supplements than I did food. This is before I actually got into bodybuilding. I was just a bro. I was a bro from Jersey. So I'm like, got my protein shake, got this while I'm bulking so I can eat McDonald's, I can eat that. And you think that you don't really know how any of this works. Most people don't know any of that works. So you take a bunch of shit and you just kind of hope that it works out. Or you have a friend that's taking something called Tribal. I'm like, what's that? Bro, it's this, and this. It makes you jacked, it makes you ripped. And then you take this with a liquid clenbuterol. Like, what's that do? Well, you just take this every day and you get ripped. And you're like, oh, okay, so I can continue to live in the lifestyle. It doesn't work that way. And that's why I think bodybuilders get a bad rep. You call us dumb. They call us meatheads. Phil Heath said it best. We're the meatheads, but we have to know how all this stuff works. Every supplement we take is calculated at a professional level. So that's the experience I get, is mostly from younger guys in their 20s, taking a bunch of shit, hoping for the best, and then it doesn't work out. Supplements do work if you know how it works, what it's designed to do.
I've been victim of that before, man. I used to go in a supplement store at Schofield and I remember the Celtec Nitro Tech stack. I thought that was going to get me to the pro level in no time, man. I bought all that,
dude. Yeah, I think the flavor was actually called rat's butthole, like
chalky rat's butthole. I would spend so much money buying shit in there, and I wouldn't do shit, but I thought it was the awesomest stuff ever. I thought the more stuff I would take, the more I got, and I was in the barracks, so I was just like trying to eat turkey burgers off a Foreman grill, not knowing shit about nutrition. So I fell victim to it before, and I was really stubborn to break that habit. It took a while before I finally realized that, you have to you have to do the work and have the knowledge. And one thing I will say, once you learn how the supplements work, it really changes your opinion on what you want to use and how you want to use it. Once you learn exactly how they work.
Yeah.
I've been the opposite. Maybe because I wasn't fascinated by bodybuilding before this entire project that I've now undertaken for myself. But I think the biggest thing for me was what am I putting into my system? I was very, very, and I still am. I'm very conscious about that. It's just something I don't know if I can attribute that to how I was raised or just my education on nutrition. I'm very careful. I read the labels. I read what the ingredients are, what is going into my system. So I've always been apprehensive about supplements. So when I had personal trainers guide me and they would prescribe a bunch of shit, I would ask them, do I really need this? Do I really need this? Is this something I can work around so I don't have to use this? Because I'll go back, I see that list, I go back and do my own research of what that shit is. Now that I'm getting into the game, now that I'm starting my journey into men's physique, and I don't know where I'm going to go from that, I'm starting to be more aware of what certain supplements do. And I want to bring up the fact that, and this is just my personal opinion, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm telling you from a therapeutic standpoint and a neuroscientist standpoint. I don't call myself a neuroscientist, but I call myself a mad scientist. I like experimenting with shit. But here's the thing that I have. This is the perspective that I have. I believe a lot of the stuff, now there's good ones out there, there's good supplements, I believe, but I also believe that a lot of the supplements are placebos. Correct me if I'm wrong here. They're placebos. No?
No, they're not. They're not placebos. They are. If you actually read, so if you read the bottle right here, I'm going to give you guys a tip. If you guys have never see this, right? If you look at a bottle, people what they do is called pixie dusting. You ever hear of pixie dusting, Jed? Yep. Right.
I have.
So they'll say proprietary blend, and then they'll put 2,500 milligrams. Then they'll put a list of everything that's in that 2,500. Now that could be 1,000 milligrams of this and 500 milligrams of that, 100 milligrams of each. We don't know. That's where I think the placebo and the fake companies are coming out. Real companies do two things. So if you have a very reputable company, let's just say we'll use Blackstone Labs, right? I love Blackstone Labs stuff. They'll put proprietary blend, but because of their quality, because of their well-known products, they want to hide their recipe. You just know that shit is going to work. It's going to make it feel good. It's going to get you to what they're saying it's going to get to. Then you have other companies like I love Gaspari and Species Nutrition. Species Nutrition I use for my health. Gaspari I use for more of the hardcore, like pre-workout, creatine, et cetera, et cetera. They have listed exactly what is on there and what is designed to do. And now if you actually look it up, each ingredient, it'll tell you, and you'll say, oh yeah, that's why I'm feeling wired. You know what? That's why I'm feeling this. If you look at Fiberlize and Omegalize by Species Nutrition, right? My blood work's always great because the fiber and the omega are always keeping after my contest prep, my liver enzymes were slightly elevated and my cholesterol was slightly bad after everything I put my body through. But that's because I know what is in exactly everything that I'm taking. So
fair enough.
So the placebo idea, I would say that's not necessarily true if you're actually a professional and you know what you're looking at.
Okay, fair enough. Again, see, this is why I need to be educated in that area. But I think what I'm trying to draw focus to is the fact that the reason why a lot of people are using this as a crutch is because they become dependent on it, right? Yeah. They start believing that this is the end all be all, right? They start believing that this stuff alone can get them to where they want to get to, and it becomes an addiction. And we all know what addiction does. Right? You take that away from them, well, they're going to start getting more agitated. They're going to start getting more irritated, right? It's going to start projecting in negative, destructive ways.
And you're going to want to take more
exactly
of the next thing. So I'll say, I like to use myself because I'm honest. Super Pump, right? During my prep, man, I was taking almost 1 to 3 scoops of Super Pump Max a day. No, I was thinking, excuse me, not 1 to 3, 2 to 3. Keeping. And then sometimes I look away and sneak a little extra in there because my body's addicted to that stimulation. And then I said, in 2 weeks, no caffeine. Said 15 days, I will do no caffeine. And I stuck to my guns. No caffeine, no caffeine. Got through it, detoxed my body. I'm still intermittent fasting, letting my organs rest and clean. I've been doing just one level scoop of pre-workout. And I am wired until 9 o'clock at night because you're letting your body rest. The shit does work. You just can't get addicted to it.
Yeah. And addictions, they form other sub-habits, right? And that becomes a problem. So there's ways to combat this. There's ways to work around this and break the habit, as it were. But that's getting into a lot of the NLP techniques that, Dibs, you and I have gone over in the past. We don't want to share everything, but I think one simple technique that I can give the audience is, and we just spoke about this, Dibs, is Ericksonian tasking, right? It's like, and what that means is whatever the symptom of that addiction is. So for example, if you're taking more, you're depending on that supplement, make it a task, right? Look at it as a task. Tell yourself, okay, this is how much I'm going to take every single day. Like actually tell yourself and make a list and make it a task. The more you make things a task, the more arduous it actually becomes, because now you're separating it from the actual default setting of you having to depend on it, right? Yeah. You're actually putting it as a thing that you have to look at, you have to do, that you've scheduled to do, right? So you're kind of separating that. Once you keep doing that, from what I've seen working with clients on other addictions is that they come back and tell me, oh my God, do I have to do this? This is getting so painful. I said, well, you just solved your problem. It's as simple as that. I mean, not simple, but it's
trade one addiction for another addiction. I think that if you give up an addiction, you're going to pick up another one right away because everybody has addictions. So when I was doing my detox, I got addicted to my detox supplements. So I took the pre-workout out. I took all the fun supplements out, and I just replaced it with kidney repair, liver repair, prostate thing. And I'm drinking a cup of cacao every day, which is freaking delicious, by the way. It's loaded antioxidants. Yep. Now, instead of researching what does caffeine dimalate do, I'm researching what does turmeric do. So whenever I get through my phase and I know I'm in this part of the game, I will sacrifice one addiction to pick up another addiction. And that's also a great tool. Just make sure you're not, you're not going from, alcohol to booze, to fucking cigarettes, to chewing tobacco. You know what I mean? Like, don't trade it bad addictions, but you could trade a good addiction and get addicted to something else. That's another effective tool that's worked for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of turmeric, I use that in most of my meals, actually. It's really, really healthy. And I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, I recommend it.
I do it with two tablespoons a day. What do you think, Jed?
Well, which aspect? Which why people get dependency or the?
I think from what do you think from the dependency aspect? I mean, you have a lot of trainers. You have guys that won't work out unless they have their pre-workout, or you have guys that they won't train or until they have their supplements. Like, I've experienced that significantly in my past. Or will they ask you like, hey man, what do I need to take to get this? And
oh yeah, fuck, I get that question.
That's a big one I used to get.
Well, if they start the pre-workout argument, I actually recommend the ones that are non-stimulant, that promote the blood flow and the focus, the ones that do what it's supposed to do. If you need to get a little wired, that's cool. I'm not against it, but like you said, sometimes people come in like I ran out of pre-workout. I was like, well, suck it up, bitch. We still got to train and get over it. Like you're I think I said this in the other podcast, the Bringing It Back with Brandon last week. It's like, back with Dorian Yates and these guys era, they had like coffee. That was it. They drink a cup of coffee and go train. And Dorian Yates' workouts were absolutely legendary. Like people worked them. That's one of the most famous workout videos ever fucking produced was Blood and Guts.
Yeah, I watched that one.
He didn't take NO Explode, or that tells you how old I am. NO Explode or Jack 3D or anything. He drinks some caffeine, go down there and blast some Guns N' Roses and AC/DC in his dungeon gym and throw shit around so he became a monster. So you're telling me that these little like 150-pound kids come up and they can't go to the gym and do a brosive workout with no pre-workout? Get out of here with that shit. Like, if you can't get motivated to come to the gym and train, you don't have a reason to be here. Go the fuck home.
You know what's funny? As a funny little segue here. I was at Herc's Nutrition near my house, and I was there to get a shake. This was before I started getting into men's physique. I was just doing my regular workouts. So I finished my workout. I'm there at 11 a.m. when the store is about to open. Unfortunately, no one was there. So the store did not open. There was a guy standing next to me, and he was probably the most agitated guy you could see. This guy was like hopping on his toes. He was like running around. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he says, no, I'm looking for my pre-workout. And this store isn't open. When are they open? They're supposed to be open at 11. What's going on? And this guy started getting like pissed off. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Maybe you want to go to the health store that's on the other side of town. It's like, no, I don't have time for that. Fuck that shit. I want my fucking pre-workout right now. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, dude, I don't know how I can help you. Just chill. They're going to open soon. The guy just storms off in his car. He fucking does it. You know, one of those Tokyo Drift sort of things, like, yeah. He just takes off. And I'm like, wow.
I think if there's three or four supplements, I think everyone should take, it would be a good multivitamin, such as like Species Nutrition V Mineralize. I sound like Dave Palumbo now. Or Gaspari Nutrition has a very great Anavite. Use that well too. An omega supplement and a fiber supplement. At the very minimum, those three are the absolute supplements. And here's why. Here's my take on it. I think I actually invented this, right? And I learned about it a long time ago. I like to call it a pre-anabolic state, right? So my theory behind it is that if you're not getting vitamins, if you're not getting omega, and your stomach is full of fucking poop, right? And your gut's not clearing, your body won't really care about building muscle. Think about this. Muscle is a luxury for the body to have. It doesn't care if it has muscle or not. When you get hungry or starvation, muscle is the first thing to go. Amino acids are the easiest thing to break down. So muscle is always a luxury for your body. It doesn't care if it has it. So you want your body to care if you have it. So what do you need it to have? It needs to have all the vitamins, all the essential fats, and a clean digestive system. That's what fiber does. It keeps your digestive system rolling. And I think at a very minimum, that there is enough to keep you to create an anabolic state. So I called it a pre-anabolic state. That was why I always take my multivitamins twice a day. I'm always taking that because I want my body to focus on building muscle, not detoxification, not lack of vitamins.
There's always a science behind everything that you want to do. And that's what I like about the diet plan that you gave me, Dibs, is because I understand the science behind it. You know, the only thing that I'm curious about, and we could talk about this further later, is the omega-3s. What do they do?
You want to explain, Jen, or want me to take it?
Sorry, go ahead, go again. I was reading some fucking.
I was asking what we got for show. So omega-3 fatty acids, right? They're essential fatty acids for the body, full of EPA and what's the other one? EPA. I haven't eaten yet, so my mind's not working.
Okay, so omega-3 and 6 are two essential fats your body cannot synthesize out of something else. So the way I explain it to people is, when you do not get them, it's like if you don't get new clothes for winter, you're going to hold on to your old shit. If you're not getting all the fat your body needs, your body's going to hold on to fat. That's why when we lose weight, we have these stubborn areas that are hard to get rid of because your body's hanging on to that because it's not getting the essential fats that it cannot produce. On the other hand, if we eat all the food to get as much as we need in a day, it would probably break the diet. So supplementing them is the best case. Now, one is inflammatory, one is anti-inflammatory. So if you take a bunch of one and not the other, it may not be the best. I mean, it will help, but it won't be the best. We have a lot of 6 in our diet. We don't have enough 3. So usually you take some fish oil. But the way I do the diets, most of the fats are started out, and I supplement the 3 and 6 in a proper ratio to where they work properly. And I have seen people's blood work, all kinds of shit regulate within a month or so. I'm not saying medical claims or anything, but I've seen it work.
Thing with fish oil, sometimes the balance of EPA, DHA is off. So if you take fish oil, you may be getting a lot of EPA, but won't be getting DHA. And you could also cause blood inflammation at that time if you have too high of omega-6s. If you're not eating organic food, right? But I get it. Y'all can't afford organic. I couldn't afford it for my first 4 years of bodybuilding either. So I made sure I was getting quality fat from omega-3s, macadamia oil, or evening Primos oil in it.
Yeah.
Primrose is a good one.
That was a good way to get the balance of fats I need, because if you can't afford organic, odds are you're not getting all the quality fats you're supposed to be getting. That's one of the beauties of, organic is expensive, but not everybody can afford it. But there are ways around it until you can afford it. I'm gonna have to step out. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, gentlemen.
Oh, go ahead. When it comes to supplementation, you're going to get what you pay for. So when you go to Walmart and get the shit off the shelf, you might as well throw it in the fucking trash can, especially when it comes to protein. There's so many people that put aminos in their protein and spike it. A lot of people got in trouble for this a few years back. High quality, good proteins are going to cost a little bit of money.
Yeah.
The fats thing, like when you talk about mac oil and stuff like that, those when it comes time to put fats in people's diets, I'll use those. And it does help with fat burning. The thing is, if you guys do take fish oil or anything with fish oil in it, make sure if you're going to have some kind of operation or whatever, you come off a couple weeks before, because it keeps your blood from clotting and build up, I think. But when you're getting surgery, that's not a good thing, because you don't want your blood, or you don't want to run out of blood. You don't want to bleed to death. Yeah. I was just the guy who makes the product. I was just watching the video he's talking about today. So those are 3 and 6 are crucial. I am a huge believer in those. I take them all the time.
I take them twice a day,
according
to what Dibs has given me as a diet. So right,
yeah.
So I take them twice a day. Yeah,
he takes the same shit.
I don't shop for supplements or protein at Costco. That's not a place I would go for that shit. There's they have a bunch of shit on the shelf. None of that stuff is reputable, at least from what I know and what I've spoken to with some of the people that work there, because I've asked them questions like they have no fucking clue, right? They just stock it on the shelves. They have no idea what's in those powders and how it's actually made. They'll just say a bunch of shit. It'll say keto, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what does that mean? Like, is that vegan keto? Is that what kind of protein is it? So I usually shop at either, this is for people that are in Canada, I shop at Nutrition House or GNC. Those two places have probably the best, in my opinion, have the best reputable brands, at least as far as I know. Right?
Yeah, they do.
Right, GNC especially, they have the ones that I actually like and the ones that suit my system. My question is, and this is something you would know better, Jed, do you think, speaking about the whole crutch thing, besides the reputable companies, leaving them aside, all the other commercialized gimmicks out there, do you think there's something in those supplements that are making people addicted? I'm talking about a chemical substance. Do you think there's something that they're adding into those products that are making people crave them more and more and more?
Yes and no. I'll say that. Let's go back to pre-workout. I like pre-workouts that promote blood flow and focus and a euphoric type feeling. The stem ones, people like to be stemmed. So when they go into the training and they're not stemmed out of their fucking mind, they think they can't work out. So yes, the stimulants are hooking the people to the product because they think if they're not jacked out of their mind, they can't train. So there's not a chemical to make them addicted, but is there stuff in there that's making them addicted? Yes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now let's go caffeine, back. Right? Let's go back. Yeah, let's go back to the reputable brands. You mentioned one of them. I like the mom and pop stores because those guys, they know their shit. There's a Muscle Link here in Hawaii, is one of the best stores I've ever been to. I send everybody there. I go there all the time. They know everything. Mm-hmm. They will tell you, if you do your own research before you buy this, here's what I know about it. Some other places, even though they have great products, that doesn't mean they're going to sell you what you need. They're going to sell you whatever they're told to sell. I've worked at these places. I know this. This is one of the reasons why I fucking quit, because it was very unethical how they ran their stuff. You would get commissioned off of certain products. So if the person came in and said they had cancer, you'd be like, well, take this detox kit, it'll do whatever, and try to steer them towards that product, or try to find some segue from having some illness to, well, you would feel better if you clean your system. So there's 21-day detox, and then you get commission off of that, or you get points. And if you don't get enough points to sell the products, they cut your hours. So when you go into a corporate store that has good products, do not, as soon as they come up and talk to you, be like, get the fuck away from me. I know what I'm talking about. Go home. Let me pick my own shit.
Right.
Do not listen to them. Research your own stuff. They will try to steer you towards, and their own brands are good. GNC's protein's legit. I tell people, you want to buy their whey bottle, go ahead. That's you look at the ingredients. The ingredients are good. They have ones with no concentrate. They have it with isolate. They have it with hydrolyzed. Most of their flavors are good. I have no problem with the protein. Their vitamins, not bad, but I do not like how they steer you towards certain products depending on what they think they need, what you have, what issue you have. If you were to go in there and buy a well-known natural test booster that's really good, and they have their own that's in a multi-pack vitamin, they're going to try to think that multivitamin is going to do more, which is fucking horseshit. Well, throw your old vitamins away. Instead of adding this awesome product to it, just buy our one pill that we say it does the same thing, but it's in our vitamin. They'll do that shit. So if you go into stores that have good brands, research your brands, tell them to fuck off and buy what you need to buy. Because in the end of the day, they're going to sell it to you anyway.
So the commercialized ones, you got to be careful of. So the privatized ones. Be
careful of listening to the salesman.
Right. Interesting.
And, to answer your question, Akira, I heard on the way I was letting Amanda out. You said, are there anything addictive in there? Fuck yeah, man! You guys ever have the original Jack 3D, bro? The DMA that was in there. That shit literally tasted like the Jersey Shore. That was the Jersey Shore. That was Seaside Heights, New Jersey. The bottle, man. It was super DMA, and they have new stuff in there now. DMHA, DMEA, which is. They should just, here's the thing, when shit goes off the market, they just slightly alter their chemical compound a little bit and then make it a new one. And then that goes off the market, and they should just keep it, the way it is. And you can still get DMA from underground companies, and it's super addictive because not just, because your body, once you come down off of it, you get that crash, and then your body starts craving the DMA. DMHA, I love it. I'll tell you guys straight up. I'm a stim junkie. I love DMHA. I love DMAA, but you have to understand the consequences that come out of it. What goes up must come down. So depending on the time you take it in the morning, you're going to crash in the afternoon. And then you got to have another cup of coffee. Now you're at 600 milligrams of caffeine a day. Now you go home and you crash again. Oh, I'm going to go to sleep, get up. You know what I mean? So it turns into this vicious cycle of dependency. I understand what comes along with that. That's why I took 2 weeks off, nothing, zero caffeine, zero, DMA, DMHA. And then I went to just good old fashioned 1 scoop of Super Pump, which is really just some caffeine, maybe a little yohimbine in there, right? But nothing extremely hard. And then Huperzine, which is a pretty natural supplement for focus. I'm at 1 serving, 1 scoop. I get a little overboard, but I'm a victim of it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I'm fucking perfect. I'm a stim junkie, and I love that wired feeling in the gym. It gives me crazy ideas. I clean the house in fucking 20 minutes. It usually takes 4 hours. It's fun. So yeah, there's a lot of addictive stuff in there, but you need to discipline yourself to break that addiction. Find the tools that work for you. Akira is really good. Listeners, Akira is really good at this. A lot of tools. I'm getting very well at it too, breaking addictions and, finding the system that works for you. It's not going to be easy, but let me tell you, the detox I'm doing now, I'm still on it. Remember, I've been on it for 2 weeks. I did 12 and 12. Then I did 16 and 8. Now I'm doing 12 and 12 again today, but because my schedule is a little off, I'm fasting for 11 hours today. I'm fasting for 13 hours today, right? Just to give my digestive system a break.
The reason I asked is because, I used to be a fucking Red Bull junkie. I used to take, oh my God, every party. Now I got off alcohol. I replaced it with Red Bull. No, not now. This was in the past. Like right when I got off alcohol, I was like, okay, I need something to stimulate my nerves when I go to these parties. I'm like, okay, fucking get Red Bull. So I'd have like 2 Red Bulls at the party. And I'd go home at like 3 a.m. I'd be so wired. I'm like, fuck, I can't sleep. I'm going to watch Tom and Jerry for a while. I would turn on my YouTube and start watching Tom and Jerry. Like, that was my jam. And I was like, okay, so I need to get off of this shit. But I knew that there was something holding me back. It was something that was in that drink. Well, obviously there's something in that drink, but there was something that was making me crave it more and more. That's when my curiosity stemmed from.
I mean, sugar, caffeine, taurine,
Right.
all that shit's gonna
taurine.
make you, you know, all that shit's gonna make you crave it.
Do they put taurine in a lot of the other supplements too?
I don't see it that often, but taurine is also really good for like muscle cramps and stuff like that too, which is probably why they have it in there.
Here's let me tell you guys, there's something else that gets people hooked on the Red Bulls and the pre-workouts and stuff, and I'm victim of this. And I'll talk about how I broke it and how I felt, just for you guys that have the same problem. There's an element of fear in it, of being able to go in and do something without assistance. So if you don't have that stim, you don't have, I mean, I can't go to this party if I'm just feeling mellow, because then it won't be the life of the party and all this. Or I can't do this pre-workout because I'm not jacked out of my mind like a fucking idiot. So you got, no offense, people like being jacked up. When I take stim before I work out, my workouts are not as good. So, because I'm careless. But so I had that same fear. Like I'm not gonna be able to get through this. So I'm not going to talk about how I came off of the stuff, because I think I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I don't know if it's a good topic to bring into this one, but if you guys listen tomorrow, I'll talk about it. But it actually brought me off. It was, I'm not going to condone or recommend it, but I will say it's safe and it was amazing. And it actually kind of changed my perspective on some things in life. I'll say that much. So I did this, and so I came off of the stems. I came off of Adderall. I came off because I'm prescribed Adderall. So I wanted to take a break because it wasn't working anymore. And instead of upping the dose, I was like, I'll just come off for a little bit. I went a month, 2 months without even doing anything. And I was mellow and calm. But one thing I noticed, I never had a problem pushing a set. I never had a problem making a decision. I actually was better at critical thinking and making very fast decisions because I was so mellow. There was just an element of not giving a fuck that I could think very clearly, if that makes sense. I wasn't panicking, paranoid, worried. And I was like, man, this feels fucking awesome. I could go to sleep if I wanted to. I could work if I wanted to. But because you're in that mellow mid state, people think they can't do shit. But if you just get that initial ump and go, you can get a lot done. It's just we're not, with all the shit we put in our bodies, we don't know what normal feels like anymore. But it feels really fucking good, honestly.
Yeah. I'll be getting up at 5:30 a.m. like clockwork, ready to go. Just because my body's not pumped full of a shit ton of stems that, you know, I wake up, oh, fuck, I need my fucking coffee. Now I'm eventually probably going to go back to that state, you know, within a couple months, because, you know, I like my pre-workouts, I like my stems. So here's something I noticed. Maybe you can answer this, Jed, is when I got off the caffeine for 2 weeks, my sugar and sweet cravings were through the roof. And what I think was happening was that my body was craving that up feeling so much. And I knew I was disciplining myself to not have caffeine, that during my 12-hour window, my 12-hour window that I can eat, I'd eat a meal and then I would crave sweets or want just like a Reese's something. And I would eat it just to feed that, get that up high feeling from the sugar.
Well, it could have been because you fasted, your blood sugar was low. So when you ate, it spiked and then dropped again. And when it drops down, you start craving sweets because your body wants to fix that as quick as possible. So if you start craving sweets and stuff and you're on a diet, once you eat your next meal, or even if it's like slow carbs and stuff, it'll fix it. It'll just take longer. But when your body's in a state where it thinks it's in deprivation, it's going to tell you to eat the thing that's going to fix it the fastest.
This is very... I noticed that real quick. The 16 and 8, I couldn't control myself to 16 and 8. That's why I couldn't do it. I was eating that whole 8 hours. I could not get enough food in. I just wanted to eat and eat and eat and eat. Yeah.
It's trying to say, because it's used to getting food all the time. And it's like, dude, you got to play catch up. That's what it's telling you.
Yeah. What were you saying here?
I was just going to say, this is very interesting because I find and I notice the same thing happens when you go cold turkey from smoking. The same stuff happens. It's like your body starts craving, at least in my case, when I quit cold turkey once, I started craving sweets, sugar, candy, dessert. It just started happening. It was like, Jed, please enlighten me because I want to know about this.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I quit dipping snuff. I did Copenhagen since I was like fucking 12, right? So I'm not exaggerating at all. Like that's no bullshit. I would do like 2 cans a day. So the very first Aloha muscle, I over dieted. I felt so shitty Then I was like, fuck, if I quit now, I'm not even going to notice the withdrawals. So I feel so bad. So I quit. And then the same thing happened. Now, when you quit smoking or quit nicotine, your taste buds are no longer numb. That shit numbs your taste buds. The nicotine, the smoke, it kills your taste buds. So when you come off of it, you'll notice when you eat, like I noticed when we're drinking Gatorade, it's like, fuck, that tastes so amazing. Like I didn't even know it tasted like that because my taste buds are not getting killed off by all the shit I'm putting in my mouth. And then there's the whole thing of the habit of just putting something up to your mouth. Right. I mean, and I do believe you're trying, it's like saying you're trying to solve one addiction with another. You always have to put stuff to your mouth. All those things come into play. But when you first do taste something, those taste buds are 100%. You're like, oh man. And you just want to keep doing that. That does have a lot to do with it.
That's so interesting. I think a lot of, the reason why we're addicted to something in some form or the other is because we're very symbolic beings. At least that's what I believe. We're very, very symbolic creatures. We associate one thing with another. And it always seems like we need this, we need X to do Y. You know what I mean? This goes for every single aspect of life. And I'm not saying that necessarily that it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there's definitely good addictions where you need something to do something else. But for the bad addictions, if you can somehow find a way to reframe it by taking out the need and replacing it with something that you can actually utilize as a tool to do something even better, I think that would be a better outlook and a better outcome for your lifestyle.
And then I'm an example of that, gentlemen, because I have an extremely addictive personality, very addictive. Whenever I like something, I am addicted to it immediately. That's one reason why I've never experimented with drugs. I never smoked weed, never did any of that, because I know if I did it and I liked it, I'd have to do it to the extreme. I like to push the envelope, right? It's
not that great.
So I disciplined myself. I said, I'm never going to do this shit until I'm probably like really old or, at least out of the military, but I don't want to mess with it because I know what would happen if I did. But where I have an addictive personality was I was addicted to partying and I was addicted to the club life for years. And I talked about this last week, my schedule, and it was just it did that rush of being there, loud music, beautiful women. It's an addictive feeling. You start drinking and you feel good, you're dancing, and then you want to do it again tomorrow night. Then you want to try a new club. Yep. I traded that addiction for the gym addiction, right? And I realized I wasn't happy. I was filling a void with the clubs and parties. So I was actually supplementing my void with this. And then I was like, hey, I traded this addiction for, the weightlifting, the healthy life. So Akira, you're right. You can get that addictive feeling, and you can, as long as you're addicted to the right things, it'll positively affect. If you get addicted to reading and you get addicted to knowledge, those are good addictions. If you get addicted to success and you get addicted, you know what the most powerful drug in the world is? The most deadly, not as deadly, it's the most powerful, strongest addiction is the feeling of winning.
Oh yeah.
Nothing more addictive than that. That 30 seconds you get on stage, or that 30 seconds where you hold that fucking trophy and all the suffering, all the training, everything you got to do just to get that, you crave it for the rest of your fucking life. The moment you get that win, you want it again, and you'll fucking fight like hell. Like, why do you do it? Why am I spending? I spent $1,800. I barely didn't have to go do the Kentucky Pro because I'm pretty sure there was a good chance I was going to win. I didn't, but I'm so addicted to that fucking feeling of winning that I want to sacrifice everything for it. So for me, that's a good addiction because it is. To me, winning is everything.
I can't wait for my first win, dude. I can't wait. I mean, I feel that. I feel a tiny bit of that win when I work out every fucking day. It's like I finish my workout. There's a sense of achievement. There's a sense of fulfillment. I'm like, fuck yes, I killed it today.
That is a win. That's 100%.
That's 100% win.
Sticking to your diet is a win. It's sticking to your plan. That's a win. You start to get addicted. You want to get addicted and you want to supplement a drug. Get addicted to that. Mark your fucking tasking for the day. Each one of them is a win. So I'm part of one of my groups every single day. We talk about a one win that we got today, and wins build upon each other. This is written by Napoleon Hill. This is written by everything, all the greats. They don't even know each other. Those small little momentum successes will get you where you need to get to.
For sure.
You're not going to rely. Look, you're not going to become Phil Heath overnight. We're not going to make $1 million company in a week. You're not going to, I'm not going to be fucking the ninth in the world when it's my second year in the IFBB. It's not for me. It's not going to happen. But the small little wins you do throughout the day will eventually get you where you have to get to.
Akira, let me ask you something, because this is my deal when I get addicted to something. It's more of a habit. So, for instance, let's say I drink a Bang energy drink one morning. It makes me feel good. I get through my day. I get that now. For some reason, I get to, 6 o'clock every morning, I got to do this because I'm habit. That's why I do bodybuilding, because it's a good habit and it keeps me from doing stupid habits. So, or if while I was taking my Adderall, back, I usually feel that we're off in 3 hours. Reality, I can stretch it 4 if I really push. But now I got to think, every 3 hours, no matter what, I got to take one. So I think it's because I got so much shit to do and think about that I don't want to sit there and debate if I should do this today or not. I just go ahead and do it because I'm used to doing it every day, and I just carry on to the next task. So a lot of the stuff that I get hooked to is a habit thing. It's not really me being addicted. It's just, I do this every day, so I got to keep doing this every day. So it's and a lot of that's the fear thing. Well, if I don't drink this, if I go into work, my workout's I'm not going to be able to get these people through their training sessions, which is bullshit. I just may not talk as much. Sometimes I talk too much. But I get, and sometimes a lot of that's like, I don't want to do a shitty job. I got like 6, 7 people to train today. I don't want number 6 to come in. I'm tired. I don't want to fuck up. Like, they're paying money. They want to change. They want to experience what I've experienced. I got to give them that experience. I can't fuck that up. So some of it's pressure. Honestly, I will say there's a good amount of it that's pressure. It's minor, but it's pressure. And because if I train somebody and I think I half-assed it after, I'm going to feel like shit for the rest of the fucking day. It's just how I am.
Do you think that these habits that you have, do you find them absolutely necessary?
No, not necessary. It's just because I do it every day, so I just keep doing it.
Is it something you want to break?
I have. I mean, I can. I've done it before. It's just I'm talking about past experiences. Like, there's people out there that are like that.
There are.
I can stay busy and forget what time it is, and next thing you know, like, oh fuck, I went like 6 hours. I'm good. I do shit.
Well, Dip said it best. I mean, we're creatures of habit, and I think once we fall into that rhythm of doing something on a routine basis, which is why I talk about creating these micro shifts in your routine and your habits, right? Your habit structure is change one item, because it's such a daunting task to change something major. Like, for example, in my case, I need to have a tea at least twice a day. That's my habit. I can't go without a tea. In the morning, I need my tea. It's like, that's something and I'm aware that it's an addiction. I'm aware that it's a habit. I'm not an addiction, but it's a habit. Right. But here's the thing. I tried changing this by changing one small item. So rather than have 2 cups spaced out, maybe 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, I finish my 2 cups right in the morning. Right in the morning, get that out of the way. See what that does.
Then you knock it down to 1 after a while.
And then you knock it down to 1, because then the 2 becomes too much to take in the morning. It's like you've overwhelmed your system with having 2 back-to-back teas. Now you're like, okay, well, now I want to get off. I want to just skimp on the second tea. I'm just going to have my first one, see what that does. And then slowly wean off of that, right? It's like, this is the thing. You change one small little thing in your entire habit structure, you create an entire cascade of change.
There's been a reason I laugh is because there's been times where I have like forgotten if I take an Adderall, I'll take another, or I'll just drink 2 energy drinks within a small window and be like, fuck, I'm not touching those for a few days. Just like I'll be like, okay, I gotta stop this. I'm gonna slam another one, and then I start feeling like shit. Like, this is what happens when you drink this shit. You gotta fucking stop. Like, and because now I've got a reference of what happens when I put it in my system. It sounds kind of dumb, but I had to learn a lot of shit on my own. So I come up with ways to fucking teach myself shit. That's one of them that I did, one by accident. And because I remember I was training somebody and she came in and I just was like staring at this fucking bug or something on the wall forever. She's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I said, I fucking took too much Adderall. I just forgot. I took another one. And she started laughing. I was like, that's it for the day. I'm good. And for, a day or two after that, I was fine. I mean, I stretched it out. And so because I stretched it out, I was like, oh, I can go a while without taking this shit. So now that's in my head. So you gotta trick yourself a little bit. But yeah, I've done that before where I've done too much and fucked myself up. And it makes me back off. because I have that now. I have a reference point. It's like when I do this contest and I place where I'm going to place, because one of my habits is I start eating after the contest and then I can't stop, because for a while you get away with it for a couple of days, but then you just like, well, I'll just do it another day and just wear a bigger shirt and a bigger shirt. Next thing you know, I'm in that before picture I sent you guys the other day. I'm fucking 250, 240, 250. So when I go on stage, when I get, whatever happens, whether I place well or get my ass beat, I'm going to remember that feeling next time I decide to start fucking eating, because now I have a reference point. You don't want this to happen again, dude. So you can't get out of shape.
That's a good reference point. That's an anchor essentially you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
I can't do like Akira says, and this is the point of coaching. This is why coaching is so important, is because everybody has different systems. I can't change one little thing in my habits. Won't work. I'll be fucking pissed off if we change one little thing. I have to completely go extreme this way or extreme that way. I'm either taking pre-workout and training, or I'm not taking it for 2 months. I'm either dieting 100% strict to my diet, or I'm eating 6 pizzas, right? But I can discipline myself to say, hey, cheat meal tonight. I'm not going to go have a burger and fries. I'm getting burger, fries. I'm getting my fucking cheesecake. I'm getting this. I'm getting that, and then boom, strict diet, 100% for 6-7 weeks.
I can do that. Yeah.
So for me, I can't change tiny little things into my diet. It's either extreme one way or extreme the other way. But that's also how I take everything in life. When I'm into something, I'm in it all the way, 100%, or I'm not out. I'm not in it at all. There's either 100% commitment. So you have to do what works for you. Some people can make
that's absolutely true.
And that's what I'm saying. True. That's the importance of coaching. Yeah. NLP coaching is amazing because of this here. Now I've had two great NLP coaches, one of which I'm speaking with, who is actually have coached me with many of the small little issues I've had, from I can't go talk to this girl because I don't feel this, to I need to get more into a reality of who I am and what I'm happy with. So that's where you have to find that internal dialogue, and sometimes you can't figure that out yourself. So NLP coaching is phenomenal.
Oh, it's amazing. The stuff you can do with visualization. I mean, Dibs, I put you through some of those exercises, and it was really awesome to see you transform into that, the Superman pose thing. That's a beautiful one. Yeah. But I think what I'm trying to get at is, there's certain people that operate a certain way. I think, Dibs, you've already found your discipline. You found your discipline. You know what works for you. You found your method of operation. And that's something like not a lot of people have, right? Some people need that extra disciplinary guidance to help them get into that phase or zone or whatever it is that they're trying to do. So like you said, I think it depends on the mindset. It depends on what people are ready to do and what they're not ready to do. Essentially, the premise of what I was talking about is establishing something that you can change slightly. It's probably not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's an effort in order to see what would happen if you did it. It's sort of like a what if, right? And I love these what ifs that I play around with when it comes to my clients. Like, these what ifs can really create amazing change. This goes for addictions. This goes for habits.
My what if is, what if I can place in nationals? What if I can get that top 5? What if I can go to the Olympia? Man, that what if question can really drive you to do amazing things. What if I can get to that level is a fucking great feeling. It's a great tool.
That's what drove me to start this whole men's physique project.
What if you can?
Yeah. What if I could do it? Right. Jed?
I take the more, how do I do this? It's like not saying what if I went to nationals and okay, how do I get there and win? What am I gonna do? Yeah. That's how I think about it, because I don't want to put any doubt. I got on this path I'm on so I wouldn't be what if. That's because I see, now I'm not saying anything wrong, but when I tell people when they try to take a shot at something, well, if you didn't take that shot and you went the safe route with the 9 to 5 and the family, 10 years later, you'd be like, well, what if I would have done it? You don't want to say that was too late. You want to find out now. So it could be a way to translate it as don't say what if when it's too late. Say it now and get it done. But why look at it as, okay, I want to be a bodybuilder. What do I have to do? And that's what I've been spending the past 10 years figuring out on my own. I've learned a lot,
Right.
and I'm not bitching about it taking so long, because what I've learned, I've helped so many people. I mean, just recently I've got 2 or 3 stories. One of them's going to be on YouTube soon of the stuff that I've done to help people. And I think every single day I'm grateful for being through all this shit I went through, because it's helped me give the knowledge to help a lot of other people. But I'm still, if I wasn't chasing that how-to, I wouldn't learn all the stuff I've learned. But that's just the way I look at it.
Hey, man, that's why everyone's got the system that works.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, we flew past that hour, huh?
Yeah, we did. I'm out of it. So I have no sense of time right now. I'm fucking out of it. So.
Oh no, we're having fun, dude. We're jamming here. That's amazing. That's what I love about this stuff. It's like we just jam.
If I have any final words, it would be that using supplements are okay. Don't use it as a crutch. It can happen. It's happened to me. It happens to the best of us. But if you are having an addiction and you find yourself you're unable to train without this, then you should start reaching out to either myself, Jed, Akira, and we're not just trying to market ourselves here, but we, if you've been listening to our podcast, it's because we genuinely care. We genuinely want to help people. So reach out to us if you do have a problem with supplements. I had it. I have a solution. I got my way that works. Akira's got his way. Jed has his way. So feel free to reach out.
For sure.
I deal with people that have, I guess you call it addictions, but have habits and stuff that they have to break, and that have gotten them in situations where they have to come to me. And usually when they hit bumps in the road, it's hard to get the weight off, or they have issues that come up. I'll be like, okay, you need to remember this. This feels really shitty, right? This is what happens when you keep those bad habits up. So you need to stop. So I show them the repercussions, as where, like, for instance, if somebody put on, like myself, got so out of shape, and I have had clients that got really out of shape and came back to me and they're like, you remember how hard this is? How many times you have to go through this before you stop forgetting what the fuck this feels like, and you stop getting in this position? Because now look at this. We're doing this all over again to get you back to where you were, not ahead, not better than you were last time, but where you were before. You're going through the same trip twice, and it sucks every time you go through it. So these habits and addictions you have, you got to stop. That's the route I usually take, and it hurts and it's painful, but it usually sticks in their head. But some people have to go that route. And if that's what you have to do, then you need to man up and face that pain and fucking do it, or else you're never going to change.
Embrace the pain.
Yeah, you do. You do.
That's how you create change.
Yeah. I guess that's another out of your comfort zone type shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty,
guys. Next week won't be on because I'll be busy. I'm doing Masters and Open, so I'll be busy all day. And the weekend after that will be good. I should be in a more coherent mood. But
and hopefully we'll have a guest speaker. We'll let you know who that is once he confirms. But we're not going to say who. So let's get. We'll have a very, very, very well-known bodybuilding guest speaker.
Let's get that mystery going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, y'all. Take it easy.